Hello, I'm here to give another virtual assembly. I hope you and your family are well, and that you're coping with the recent lockdown and things are going well with your remote learning. I've got a number of things that I'm going to talk with you about today. And so a very quick overview will be that I'm going to give you some basic reminders about our remote learning provision and the situation with school. I'm going to be spending most of the time celebrating, which I'm really pleased about, celebrating things about the students. And then I'm going to have a short bit at the end talking about things you can be doing to help make sure you stay healthy. I'm going to start by talking through the reminders. So if you haven't already today logged into your Google Classroom and responded to your tutor, then please can I ask you, as soon as you finish this assembly, that you get in touch with your tutor. It's really important. We want to know that you are well and that you haven't got any issues that you need our help with. And so you'll find when you get into Google Classroom, you'll see a comment from your tutor that you need to respond to. So please do that to save us having to chase you up, but also most importantly that we can sort out the support that you might need if you do need any help along the way. Remember, with your timetable for the remote learning, you should be following your usual school timetable, going into the Google Classroom that's set up for your class for that lesson at that time, and where possible, completing the work there and then, and making sure that you remember to turn in anything you do, so that the teachers can get the information back that you've completed, and that you can get yourself any feedback they're able to give you on the bits of work you've been doing. I obviously understand there are some of you who are sharing devices who may not be able to do it exactly at the time of the lesson, but try to get it done on the day of the lesson, because the staff will be following up and looking at the work that's been submitted the following day. And so it'll be really good if you can make sure that you get the work done to the best of your ability, ideally at the time of your lesson, but certainly if not on the day of the lesson, then that would be great. If you are sharing devices, remember that your parents and carers can request a computer from the school, a Chromebook. We've lent out now over 150 devices to different families around the school community, and it's something that we think is really important because it's helping you to be able to access your studies as well as possible during this difficult period of time of the lockdown. Remember that you should be spending between 40 to 60 minutes per lesson. We've heard of some students who are spending far less than that. If they're managing to complete all of the work in that time, then they may not be doing it quite to the standard that's expected of them usually. But most importantly, really, is that you shouldn't be spending more than 60 minutes on a lesson. And we've heard a few stories last week of students who are spending far too long on each lesson. So the teachers are deliberately setting work to cover and to give lots of you a challenge at different levels, and you should be accessing the work that's appropriate for you, but you shouldn't be spending hours and hours on a particular lesson. And if that's the case, do let the teacher know, because it may be that you might need some more help, or they might need to be able to give you work in a different way that would help you to overcome that factor. So 40 to 60 minutes per lesson is the ideal amount of time, really. I'm hoping that you've been able to experience some live lessons. I'm really pleased that even more lessons will be starting live this week. So for example, in technology, we're going to be trialing some activities with Year 7 and Year 8 this week, and seeing how that goes. I know that lots of the maths and English teachers are now delivering at least one lesson online to all of their groups. I know that lots of the science teachers are doing that, and various other colleagues around the school. This trial is proving very effective. If you haven't already tried one of the live lessons, then please do give it a go. I take some myself, and I know the feedback the students have been giving me that they've been finding it really helpful. So I'm really pleased to spend the next part of this assembly talking about success, because actually we've got hundreds of students who are engaging really, really well with their remote learning. And one of the things that we've been doing, which I'm sure you're aware, is asking the teachers to give us a score for your effort with the remote learning. Mr. Paulford has done a fantastic job of pulling all of that together, and in fact what he's been sending home, and you'll see your parents will receive another one today, is details of the report from the previous week. And so we've been looking really closely at that, and I'm really pleased to be able to celebrate the students who've got some amazing remote learning scores. So the following slides will show you the students who are in the top 15 of their year group. So that's the top 10% to 10% or thereabouts of the students in the year group. So if your name's on here, you should be feeling incredibly proud. And if you think that we're a school of 840 people, 160 or so students in every year group. If you're in the top 10% of your year group with the effort you're putting in, that's amazing. So well done. So for year 7, we're going to talk through the slides here. You can see all of those names of the students who are coming out with absolutely amazing remote learning scores. So I'm going to talk through remote learning scores linked to those remote learning grades, and if you haven't seen your reports, then do log into Go for Schools, because they'll all be being saved in there as well, week by week. So well done to these year 7 students. And whilst I'm talking, I'm going to move the slide over to the year 8s. Again, incredible for these year 8 students. There's some absolutely amazing work that's being completed at home to support your learning whilst you are at home. And well done to all of these young people who've made it onto the top 10% of year 8 as well. So I'll move the slide on so that we can see year 9. So there we go, year 9. Again, really impressive to see so many students doing so well and getting so many 1s. So remember, with the remote learning score, grade 1 is the highest grade. It means that your work and your effort is outstanding. So well done for doing that and reaching that. And to get onto the top 10%, students needed to get a RL1 in almost every subject. And some of these students listed here and on the previous slides that I've shown got 1s in every single subject. So that's incredibly impressive. Moving the slide on now so you can see the year 10 students. A nice run of Millies. They're all scoring very highly at the top of the list for year 10. But it's really pleasing to see some of your names appearing in the top 10%. And we'll be looking at this every week just to see how students are getting on and making sure that where there's any support that's needed, that we're able to offer that to students. So well done to these people as well from year 10. And then I'll move on to the final slide that shows you 11's top performance with the remote learning. And again, a very impressive list. Getting remote learning 1s in most, if not all, subjects is hard to do. It shows a real commitment to your studies. And it's that's going to make the difference with your outcomes and making sure that you don't miss out on bits of the learning that the teachers are putting forward for you to do. So with this aspect of this assembly, I'm wanting to talk through celebrations. And I know that what I've done is put lots of names very quickly on the board or the screen for you to see. But it's really important that we do celebrate the success, and then each of you in your own way will be doing that, and you should be feeling really very proud of yourselves. And so for any parents of students watching this assembly, I would urge you to celebrate this with them, and for every lesson that they engage well with, that's brilliant, and you should be proud of them for doing that. And so it's right to tell them that we're proud of them, and I hope you are too. One of the other things that I showed you very quickly, because I forgot that slide was in there before I moved it on, I'm going to talk to you about outstanding students. One of the things I've been doing is having lots of conversations with teachers, and they're telling me about amazing work that people are doing, or amazing amounts of effort, or particular pieces of work that the students have done in one particular lesson. So I decided it would be good to find out from all of the teachers which students had really stood out for them. So the following slide is the outstanding students, and I asked staff to give me the name of just one student who really had impressed them with their remote learning, who had gone through and gone above and beyond, and so many of you did that. And so the students listed on the screen now are very, very impressive. These are students who've done something amazing, and I'm going to be writing to each of these to explain a little bit more detail about why you were nominated by your teachers. But I particularly like to draw your attention to the 3 names that have the green highlighting. So in year 7, we've got Stanley Vincent and Faye Kirkpatrick, and in year 8, Scarlett Rose Thompson. If you think I've got 50 teachers working for me in school roughly, and to get nominated by 2 teachers out of all of the 840 students that they might have chosen for your outstanding work really does impress me, and I'm so glad for the effort you're putting in, and the teachers are recognizing your great output. So well done. If you haven't seen your name on the screen today, then I urge you to keep working hard with your remote learning, and then your name hopefully will appear in the future with our celebrations of our remote learning. But most importantly, you'll be helping yourself to progress. The last thing I wanted to talk about on celebrations is to point you in the direction of something that Mr. Mackenzie has been working on, which is the gallery. If you haven't looked at TLA's online gallery recently, then you should, because some of the work that's being displayed up there that you have been doing is amazing. And it would be great for you to have a look at what other students are achieving as well. So please do have a look at that work and make sure you can try to improve your work as well as you can and end up getting your work submitted into the gallery and achieving the high RL scores. The final part of my assembly today is just some reminders about staying healthy. It's really important that during the lockdown we do look after ourselves, and making sure that we keep check on our emotional and mental health is really important. There's lots of activities that you can be doing to help yourself, and I know some of you will be coping just fine with this process and others will be finding it very difficult, and you'll be missing your friends and you'll be missing the routines of school. So I would urge you all to have a look on the school website, and if you go to that link that's displayed, tla.essex.sch.uk/coronavirus, on there you'll see links to things you can be doing to help maintaining good mental and emotional health. And I can't encourage you enough to get on that site and have a good look at it. Things that you can be doing, you know, as well as looking at the different activities there to help your mental health, is making sure you do engage in your daily exercise that you're allowed to do, and making sure that you're keeping active. That helps our bodies to stay healthy physically, but it also helps us to stay mentally strong, especially if we can get outside and get fresh air. That's really important. It's something that doctors and scientists would always recommend, that we can get lots of fresh air, so keep that up. And do take some time to relax. That's also important. You know, I want you to be working as hard as you can with your studies, but doing that sensibly. Like I said, keeping within the time limits for each subject is a good way of managing that. But actually having some downtime, that's really important too. We recognize that in school you would normally be seeing your friends, you would have break time, you'd be walking around from one room to another. There'd be a different pace to the lessons. Whereas when you're working at home on the remote learning on the computer, what you're actually doing is working more intensely than you might be in school if you're not careful. So it's important that you do relax, that you take brain breaks, that you get up, you walk around your house, you maybe take your daily exercise, you go outside for a walk, or you get out in the garden for a few minutes just to get some fresh air, or whatever it may be that helps you to relax. That's really important. And so I'm just going to remind you of how I started the assembly. I started by asking you, if you haven't already, to get in touch with your tutor. That helps your tutor. It helps us to know that you're safe and well and that you don't need any additional support. And I'm going to close the assembly by just saying, I hope you have a really good week. We're getting there. We know that it's difficult. And if you're struggling at all, then please do get in touch either with your tutor, with your head of year, or you can email me directly, and we'll try to arrange some support that can help you with anything, whether that's a learning challenge that you're having, something you can't overcome, or a mental health issue that you would like some support with. Please reach out to us and make use of us. Have a good week. Thank you for watching the assembly this morning, and I hope you are all well. Speak to you soon.